I never thought I'd end up owning my neighbor's parking spot, but after what this HOA Karen did to me for 6 straight months, the judge literally signed it over to me in open court while she screamed like a banshee. You're probably thinking, how does someone even lose their own parking spot? Trust me, when you hear what she did with tow trucks, fake permits, and pure spite, you'll understand why the entire courtroom went dead silent when the gavel dropped. My name is Jay, I'm 32, and last year I made the worst financial decision of my life. I bought a townhouse in Willow Creek Estates. The place looked perfect, tree-lined streets, community pool, and every house came with 2 assigned parking spots right in front. Mine were spots 47 and 48, directly in front of my garage. The day I moved in, I met Karen. Not a Karen, the Karen. Platinum blonde bob, oversized sunglasses indoors, and a clipboard that might as well have been surgically attached to her hand. She marched straight up my driveway before the moving truck even left and said, "You're in my spot." I laughed, thinking it was a joke. I showed her the deed, the HOA map, the welcome packet that literally had 47 and 48 J. Patel stamped in bold. She didn't even blink. "Just because they gave it to you doesn't mean it's yours," she hissed, then spun on her heel and speed walked away. That night, I came home from work and found an orange Denver boot clamped on my Tesla. Not a ticket, a full-on boot, the kind the city uses for serial parking violators. There was a neon pink note taped to my windshield, HOA violation, unauthorized vehicle. Signed, Karen Whitmore, HOA president. I called the tow company on the boot. They said, "Ma'am gave us a signed work order and paid in cash. We don't ask questions." I had to pay $450 to get it removed at 11 p.m. I wish I could say that was the worst of it. 3 days later, I woke up to find my entire driveway blocked by 2 bright orange traffic cones and a custom-made sign that read, "Reserved for HOA president, violators will be towed at owner's expense." The cones were chained together with a bike lock. She had literally turned my own garage into a prison. I couldn't get my car out to go to work. When I knocked on her door, 2 houses down, same model as mine, except hers had American flags everywhere, she answered in a silk robe and smirked, "File a complaint with the HOA board if you don't like it." I did. Turns out she is the entire board. President, vice president, treasurer, secretary, all her. The other owners were too scared to run against her. For the next 6 months, my life became actual hell. Every time I moved the cones, they were back by morning, sometimes cemented into buckets of concrete. She had me towed 4 times in 1 month, always at 3 a.m., always cash paid up front, so I had to drive to the impound lot in an Uber and pay hundreds to get my car back. She put fake no parking fire line signs up that looked 100% official. The city cited me for illegal signage because they were on my own property. She filed noise complaints when I sneezed too loud. She told the pool guy I was a known predator, so he refused to clean my side of the shared fence. My girlfriend at the time left me because she was tired of walking 3 blocks from visitor parking every night. I started sleeping in my office some nights just so I could get to work on time. The breaking point came on a random Tuesday in March. I came home to find a white Cadillac Escalade parked sideways across both my spots with dealership plates and a giant red bow on it. Karen was taking selfies in front of it, grinning like she'd won the lottery. I asked, "Why is there a brand new car blocking my garage?" She looked me dead in the eye and said, "Happy birthday to me, and guess what? This is my new assigned spot now. The board voted last night." I asked to see the meeting minutes. She handed me a single sheet of paper that literally said, "Meeting held, 3/14, all in favor of reassigning spots 47 and 48 to Karen Whitmore, signed Karen Whitmore, HOA president." That was the exact moment I decided I wasn't just going to fight back, I was going nuclear. I hired the most savage property attorney in the state. We started documenting everything: photos, timestamps, tow receipts, threatening letters she slid under my door at 2 a.m., even the ring footage of her keying my car while wearing a Live, Laugh, Love shirt. But the real bombshell came when my lawyer subpoenaed the original HOA covenants from 1998. Turned out there was a clause nobody knew about, a penalty buried on page 63 that said if any officer of the HOA knowingly abuses their power to deprive an owner of their deeded property rights, the offended owner can petition the court to transfer the officer's own assigned parking spot as compensation. It had never been enforced because nobody had ever been crazy enough to try what Karen did. We filed the petition on a Friday. Karen got served on Monday, and that's when she completely lost her mind.
The day Karen got served, the entire neighborhood WhatsApp group exploded. Someone leaked the petition, 27 pages of pure receipts, photos of the concrete-filled buckets, tow bills totaling $9,400, ring clips of her screaming racial slurs at 3 a.m., even the fake fire lane signs with her fingerprint still on them. By noon, she was storming up and down the street in leopard print slippers, screaming that I had hacked her Ring camera and paid actors to pretend to be tow truck drivers. That night, she escalated from unhinged to straight-up criminal. At 2:17 a.m., my phone blew up with motion alerts. I opened the live feed and watched Karen and two guys in black hoodies pouring gasoline all over my Tesla. She was holding the can herself, laughing like a hyena, while one guy filmed on his phone. I hit record on every camera, called 911, and ran outside in boxers and slides. By the time the fire department arrived, my car was a torch. Karen was still standing there holding the empty red can when the cops rolled up. She tried to say it was just a prank gone wrong and that I had set myself on fire for insurance money. The officers weren't buying it. The gasoline can had her actual fingerprints and a receipt from the Shell station 2 miles away, time-stamped 20 minutes earlier. They cuffed her right there in her driveway while the neighbors filmed on their phones. I thought that was it. Game over. She's going to jail. I win. I was so wrong. They released her 6 hours later on a $5,000 bond. And that's when Karen went full supervillain. First thing the next morning, a flatbed showed up with a rusted 1987 Winnebago. They dropped it directly across my garage door, chalked the wheels, and left. Karen came out in a bathrobe sipping coffee, waved at my Ring camera, and yelled, "Adverse possession, sweetie," and went back inside. I looked it up. In our state, if someone openly uses your property for 30 days without you removing them, they can try to claim legal rights. She was trying to squat on my own driveway with a literal RV. I called the police again. Non-emergency said it was a civil matter. My lawyer said we could file for immediate removal, but it would take 2 weeks minimum. Karen knew that. So for the next 13 days, I parked 3 streets over and walked home carrying groceries like a peasant, while that moldy RV leaked sewage onto my driveway. She didn't stop there. She printed 500 flyers that said, "Wanted Jay Patel, animal cruelty, poisons neighborhood cats," with the worst photo of me ever taken, mid-sneeze, eyes half closed, and plastered all over the community. She called my job and told HR I was under federal investigation for arson. She filed a restraining order claiming I threatened to burn her house down with her grandkids inside. The judge threw it out in 5 minutes. But I still had to take a day off work to appear. Then came the forged letters. She mailed every homeowner a letter on HOA letterhead saying annual dues were now $5,000 because one resident destroyed community property values with illegal modifications. Half the neighbors then owed her the money before anyone realized it was fake. She pocketed $38,000 in 48 hours. The court date was set for April 29th. My lawyer warned me Karen had hired some hotshot firm from downtown. Apparently, she liquidated her late husband's 401k to pay them. I walked into the courtroom thinking this would finally end. Karen strutted in wearing a white suit like she was about to accept an Oscar, smirking at me the whole time. The judge, this tiny woman with glasses thick as Coke bottles, took one look at the evidence stack and said, "Mrs. Whitmore, you have 5 minutes to explain why I shouldn't jail you for contempt right now." Karen stood up and started crying crocodile tears about being a widow just trying to protect property values. I almost laughed out loud. That's when her lawyer dropped the bomb nobody saw coming.
Karen's lawyer slid a single photograph across the table. It was a grainy shot of my Tesla on fire, but zoomed in on the reflection in the hubcap.
In the reflection, you could just make out a figure in a black hoodie holding a phone. The lawyer turned to the judge and said, "Your Honor, this is Mrs. Whitmore recording the arson, which was committed by Mr. Patel himself for insurance fraud. We have the hoodie, the phone, and a sworn statement from the actual arsonist, Mrs. Whitmore's 23-year-old grandson, who is prepared to testify that Mr. Patel paid him $10,000 to torch the car and make it look like my client did it." The courtroom actually gasped. Karen dabbed her eyes with a tissue like she'd rehearsed it. My lawyer looked like a statue. For 30 seconds, I thought my life was over. Then my attorney stood up, smiled the most evil smile I've ever seen, and said, "Your Honor, may I approach with rebuttal evidence?" He handed the judge a flash drive. 10 minutes later, the entire gallery was dead silent. The arsonist's grandson? He was live streaming on Twitch the entire night of the fire, from his bedroom in his mom's basement in Colorado Springs, 70 miles away, playing Valorant with 400 viewers. We had the VOD, timestamps, IP address, everything. The hoodie and evidence? Brand new, with tags still on it, purchased by Karen herself at Kohl's 2 days after the fire. Receipt was in her own trash, recovered by a PI. The phone? Factory reset and still in the box. But the killing blow was the ring footage nobody knew existed. Karen's own front door camera that she forgot to disable. It showed her handing her grandson $200 and saying, "Just sign whatever grandma needs, okay, sweetie?" the day before court. The judge didn't even look up. She just said, "Mrs. Whitmore, stand up." Karen stood there in her white suit, face turning purple. "Bail is revoked. You are remanded into custody for perjury, suborning perjury, filing false reports, arson, insurance fraud, and about 17 HOA violations I'm too tired to read out loud." 2 bailiffs cuffed her while she screamed that the judge was in on it with the Indians. The gavel slammed so hard I thought it broke. Then came the part I'll never forget. The judge flipped to page 63 of the 1998 covenants, the exact clause my lawyer found. She looked me dead in the eye and said, "Mr. Patel, the court finds that Mrs. Whitmore knowingly and maliciously deprived you of your deeded property rights for 194 consecutive days. Pursuant to Article 14, Section 7, I am ordering the immediate transfer of Mrs. Whitmore's assigned parking spaces, numbers 51 and 52, to you, J. Patel, in perpetuity, recorded on the county deed by end of business today. The defendant will also pay your legal fees, the $9,400 in towing costs, the $87,000 insurance deductible for the Tesla, and a $25,000 sanction for wasting the court's time." Karen let out this inhuman screech as they dragged her out. The last thing she yelled was, "You'll never park there. I'll burn them first." The judge just said, "Add terroristic threatening, another year." 3 hours later, I was standing in the county clerk's office watching them stamp my name on spots 51 and 52, right next to my original 47 and 48. I now own 4 parking spots in a neighborhood where people fight over one. Karen, at 18 months in county, lost her house to my civil judgment, and as of last week, is living in a studio apartment above a vape shop, riding the bus. Yesterday, I had all 4 spots painted matte black with gold lettering. 47 and 48, J. Patel. 51 and 52, also J. Patel. Thanks, Karen. And every night at 9 p.m., I pull my brand new Tesla Cybertruck across all 4 spots, just because I can. Sometimes I sit on the hood with a beer and wave at her old house, now owned by a lovely young couple who threw me a thank you barbecue for getting rid of the crazy lady out. So, yeah, never piss off a guy who knows how to read the fine print. Karen learned that the hard way, and I learned that sometimes the universe hands you a parking spot, 4 of them actually, when you least expect it.
If you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Every single subscription motivates me to bring you even more exciting and dramatic HOA stories. And don't forget to tap the bell icon so you never miss a new upload. I'll see you in the next story, where justice gets even more satisfying.